Today we're going to be looking at one of my students' songs that's currently a work in progress. I'm going to basically take a listen to it, add some additional things to the production, maybe give some notes on the mix, and basically, yeah, help them improve the beat. So let's first off just take a listen here. So first thing I'd say is that reverse crash that's coming in, it sounds like it's on warp mode. So when you have a sample that's warped in Ableton, sometimes if it's not in the original tempo, and I'll show you an example, it can actually sound a little bit like choppy, or it can have some artifacts. So let me pull up just the crasher just so you can hear what I'm talking about. So let's say you have a crash here, it's reversed. Chances are warp mode is turned on and maybe the tempo is different than where it should be. So you want to turn that off and then reposition the crash. And you'll notice that it's going to sound smoother upon doing that. Now, because this is just one file here with everything in there, I can't individually go and take out the crash and do that, but that's just a note that I'd say. So your reverse crash, make sure you turn off warp mode, readjust the positioning of it, because you can hear that little choppiness right here. Right around there, okay? So this crash that comes in here, it's a little bit loud. I would lower that as well. So lower the volume of the reverse crash and also the main crash over here. That hi-hat I would also lower just a little bit as well, maybe around 3 dB. This crash as well can come down by around 3 dB. Now that snare can come up. It's a little bit quiet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add a clap onto that so we can emphasize that beat a little more. I'm not going to overthink the sound selection here too much because I just want to get the point across. So we'll just pick a clap that we're happy with. Okay, I'm going to lower that. This is without it. With. Later on I can go in and maybe like fine tune the sounds and pick a different sample, but for now I just want to get the point across and keep moving. Okay, so I'm hearing a bass, and that bass is good for the beginning, but I feel like at this point the beat kind of drops and I want to hear more of a deeper sub bass. So we're going to go ahead and add a sub bass here to really fill out that deep low end and move the listener, especially if they're going to be listening in the car. You want them to feel that. All right, so we've added the sub bass. It's kind of subtle. Make sure you have good speakers or headphones to hear this. So here is without it. Now let's put it back. Pretty big difference. I'm also going to put some LFO shaping on this so it really pulses. I'm gonna go get my kickstart plugin right here. But now it's gonna pulsate nice and clean and not clash with the kick. Big difference, okay? Now also, because that bass comes in and it's also playing over the other bass, I recommend that with the original bass, during this section, you basically automate the EQ to cut out some of the low end of the original bass so that it doesn't clash with the sub bass, right? Let's just imagine we're gonna do it to the sub bass, but I want you to do this to the original bass instead. Whenever the sub comes in, we're gonna automate that to say go up to like maybe like 80 hertz, okay? Around 80 hertz it would go up. And if that sub bass leaves, then you can bring it back down. So this way, notice how it's going to move like. That's the idea, okay? So you would do that to the original bass whenever the sub bass comes in. Right here at the very end, I cut out the bass because there's that new like wobbly sounding bass that comes in. And I don't want that to clash with the sub bass. So this section is far too quiet compared to the rest of the song. You can even see the waveform. It's like there's like barely anything there. So whatever pad that you have going on here, you definitely got to raise that up. I'll just do it here For example's sake, let's bring that up like maybe 12 decibels. Yeah, so over here I want to add a little sub drop to help smoothen out this transition, make it a little more impactful. Let's go ahead and take one of them from Splice. Nice, simple, and clean. Again, like these crashes are really loud, they need to come down. I'm also going to add an impact sound, just get a little more atmosphere on that impact as well to layer it with the sub drop. Also going to add a darker pad. I want like a lower sounding pad. The pad that's here is, I think it's an octave too high. Basically going to just copy the bass notes and just paste that into my pad. Let's name this pad, be organized, okay. Sub drop, I'm going to also color it the same as the bass, because of the more tracks we add, it's going to start to get messy. So we want to make sure things are named, color coded all times. Here's our pad, let's listen to this. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Nice and deep. There we go. Lower it, make it more subtle. I feel like we need like a little percussion, something, just to keep the rhythm going in a very subtle way. Let's see what we can do. Let's put a delay, a ping pong delay on this cowbell. Give it some more movement. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now let's get some snaps. Now with both of these, both the cowbell and the snap, I'm going to put them in a group, and I want to automate these guys to fade in, but not with volume, but more like the filter opening up, so it goes from muffled to more clear. So we're just going to get the standard EQ8, throw that onto this group track, and the reason I have it grouped is that so we don't have to do it twice, okay? We can just put them in a group and do it on one, and it's going to affect both of them, okay? I'm going to automate this thing to basically rise up. So we've got to open automation, turn this button off, press A. We can start from here and have it open up to like that. So right here I'm going to add a snare build. Let's look for a snare build. I have quite a lot of them in Splice. Here I'm going to also bring back the sub drop. I'll also duplicate the impact here as well. And we probably want to have a reverse cymbal going in before this as well. Probably put that here as well. Yeah, so you notice how much louder the drop got, again, because this whole section is too quiet. It's way too quiet. These waveforms should maybe just be a little bit less than these guys. Ideally, right? It's just a little bit less than the actual drop. So there's things that you'll have to go back and fix in the mix. So now this is another drop. So we're gonna also definitely put that sub in here as well. Also get that the clap that we had as well. At this point I'll probably change the clap sound. I want something nicer. So that talk to me line, you can add that on the drop again and probably pitch that down by 12 semitones so it's in a low voice and just have it say talk to me, right? And add like a ping pong delay to that, and that would kind of bounce back and forth with the drop, because I feel like the drop could just use that one extra thing to make it more interesting. And if this is the name of the song, if you use that phrase and make it repetitive and catchy, it's going to stick in the listener's head more. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Talk to me, talk to me, that's the idea that you could do it. If I had the stem, I would do it. Ah, you just did it. Okay, that's great. So I wanted to hear that basically in the beginning, right? But you could, again, pitch it down an octave so it sounds different. Then at this part, it comes back to normal. So here we're hearing a shaker come in. This shaker is really loud. It's got to come down like probably 9 dB or so. I would say bring it down even 12 dB. So same thing here, right? We got the next break section. So we can use similar elements like the sub drop. We can use the reverse sounds, right? And we can use the same impact sounds here. I like how there's a new arpeggiated synth, which is making it different than the last one. For the sake of time, I'm just going to copy the same build-up and put that here as well. It's up to you if you want to keep the same snaps and claps for this section. Maybe you don't have to if you want it to be a little different. So the talk to me part, I would also put that here, but pitch it down an octave. Talk to me, talk to me. And same thing, this overall volume here needs to go up because it's a lot quieter than the drop. Love the third drop. It's got more elements. It's unique. Again, this crash, this reoccurring crash, it's too loud. The crash is too loud. The hi-hat and the verse was quite loud. The shaker's a lot too loud. So overall, all your cymbals need to come down. Yeah, that snare also needs to come up as well, right? So that applies to all the drops. Let's copy this snare here. Definitely get that sub bass in there. I would continue the vocals here as well. There's no reason to cut those out. I would let those keep going. Nice fade out. And yeah, so a few ear candy sounds, a pad, little sub drop, sub bass for the main drops, couple percussion elements, a snare build, a clap. So that's all we had to add to this, and yeah, some mixing notes along the way. So I hope that helps. I hope this was insightful. This is how I would approach it. And of course, there's always more you can do, but as a starting point, I think this is going to get it to a much better place. So I hope you enjoy this. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and until next time.